Hey everybody, welcome to this Shortwave radio channel, and hey, we're going to talk about the XHDATA D38. This is a small portable receiver. I had this for a little while, was offered to me by somebody that actually views the videos and said, hey, I want to share a radio, I want to buy a radio so that you can review it. So the XHDATA, it's a name that a lot of people know. One of the famous receivers that a lot of people love, the XHDATA D808 is one, and it's a much more advanced receiver. This one is a very unique, a very bizarre radio. So first of all, it's an AM, FM shortwave receiver. The FM portion, to start off, performs really well. The medium wave portion isn't too bad, but there's a little problem, and it's going to be the same problem I'm going to actually go through with the shortwave receiver. It's a DSP receiver, so it has a DSP chip in it, a digital signal processing chip that is often used in cheap Chinese portables. It's around $20 to $25. Don't be fooled, because I've seen it as high as $60. Not worth 60. It's barely worth 25. So it's kind of weird. So power comes from a rechargeable lithium ion that you have here, which is, as you see here, this battery. It's become a lot of receivers have started using this battery to power them. Look how weird this thing is. This first weirdest thing that you'll see is the fact that, look at the display. Here it's going to say, okay, it says no, okay, here radio, load. It's like a computer, it has to load. The other thing is, have you noticed how it's red LEDs like from in the 80s? So when you tune around, you're actually tuning around, whoops, the frequencies. As you see here, these are red LEDs like in the past. So this is kind of weird, because I haven't seen a radio with this sort of display in ages. It performs okay on shortwave. I would say it's better than the Happy that I just reviewed. Actually, the Happy one is, and of course, Mr. Cat wants to talk about radios also. So it's better than the Happy receiver that I talked about on another video just before this one. But still, what makes this thing very, very bizarre is that the tuning isn't very precise. You're kind of jumping around like 10, 20 kilohertz at a time, and it's very, very bizarre actually what you do with this radio. It has, of course, scanning modes. It has different modes that you can use, including some memory channels, but it's very, very weird. And honestly, it's one of those radios that you just look at it and you're like, what the hell is it? Performance, like I said, on shortwave, so-so. Sorry, sound quality is amazing. I have been surprised by the quality of the sound from this speaker, but it's actually heavy. And this speaker probably has either a big magnet or it's pretty performance, because it's actually interesting. This radio also has, of course, a way of charging it via USB. So you've got connectors like here. You also have a connector at the top. Why? Because you can actually plug in a USB thumb drive with MP3s, for example, and listen to podcasts or your songs, favorite songs. Of course, there's an ear jack phone here, stereo and FM. And here, you've got a micro SD card capability. You can insert a micro SD card with your favorite songs, which is also a very unique thing about this radio. At the top here, you have the charging LED. So if you plug it in with your computer, for example, you can, you will see the LED charge light. When it actually shuts down, means it's charged. You get a lot of time with the battery. I actually used it several times without recharging the battery for like weeks at a time, and it still works. I was scared that this LED type display would actually make the battery probably go down faster, but it doesn't seem like it. So it's kind of a unique, bizarre radio. What I would say, if you're looking for a little portable thing that could do shortwave, okay, but it's not decent, it's just okay. And also can play micro SD cards or USB keys with, you know, all sorts of files, audio files on them. It's an okay radio for 25 bucks. FM is actually very good. Medium wave is decent. Medium wave suffers from the same problem that shortwave, but at a less extent, because when you actually tune around, like I said, it's kind of a very broad tuning. It's the biggest problem on shortwave is its filter. You will hear typically a strong station 30-40 kilohertz on each side because this selectivity filter is just too wide. So I would say if I had to say one thing, if you're a shortwave fan and what you want to do is shortwave listening, stay away from this one and get yourself a Texan PL 380 or 310 ET, which will be so much better than this. And of course, it's double the price though. If you're looking for a gadget that plays USB thumb drives and micro SD cards with MP3s with decent sound, and want to have good FM performance, but awkward tuning and awkward medium wave and shortwave listening experience, that's where it's really not. It's good, you know. But in performance, it does perform better still on shortwave than the Happy receiver that I actually talked about in the last video. It is better, but it suffers from a selectivity filter that's way too wide. So if you have several stations close to each other, this radio is not going to work very well with doing that. Of course, standard telescopic antenna. At the top you have the band switch for AM, FM, shortwave 1 and 2. It is okay, but you know, you won't get a great amount of performance off of the XHDATA D38. I will be posting a few videos of reception. One last glitch, as you guys have seen, it says load when you, so let me, it's off. Let's turn it on. Like it says loading. It's like a computer loading or something. That sometimes glitches. Sometimes it loads and then it does some weird things on the display and it doesn't work. I don't know if it's some kind of weird glitch in the software or the that's inside this thing, but boy, this thing is weird, and I would technically stay away from it, even though it's a very unique radio. And it comes in different colors. I've seen a red one. I've even seen a green one. But bizarre. These are bizarre receivers. So technically, I was, stay away from it unless you want to buy a little something inexpensive and play around with it just for fun. If you enjoy my videos, please subscribe, give us thumbs up, and hope you enjoy these little reviews of these little crappy radios.